Here, Joe here, we have a quorum.
Thank you.
Oh, we got to elect excise equalization officers. You want to do this again, Chris?
You're pretty handy, but I'll do it if I need.
I don't mind doing it.
Well, okay, I'll move that we elect the same officer.
Okay, been moved that we elect the same officers last year.
Yeah.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. That'd be me, chairman, and Chris last year. Okay. Possible action recording the appeal with the Education Board of Sandwich withdrew, red line. Now you can tell me what's going on with red line.
Well, we need to call this guy first.
Okay, call him.
Well, just a minute, let me get caught up here. You went a little fast here
I'm
for
not,
me, Joe.
I'm not being hurry. It's 150 degrees out there. My employees are working. I am not going to. Now you're gonna let me know what's going on.
Your name's
Tom.
Tom.
Ferris.
Tom. F-A-R-I-S?
Correct.
Okay. Let me check my email too to see if I got.
Now, how do you expect, why couldn't we have had this early?
So just, you didn't give it to just the other day.
What is it?
Well, it's, all right, tell me
Oh, wait,
what's going on
Now
here.
let me call first so we can start. He needs to be able to hear what's going on.
I can't, I mean, you're gonna
This
have
is
to give me
probably more
30 minutes.
information than you
You're gonna have to
need.
give me 30 minutes to decipher that deal before I can do anything.
Here, before I get it lost. I need to call. Okay. Quiet. Okay.
1966.
Okay. So that is right on.
Good morning, Alliance 6 Nelson.
Yes, I am calling for Wyatt.
Okay, may I say who's calling, please?
Shelley Reed, Woods County Clerk.
Okay, one at a time, please. Hi, this is Wyatt.
Hello, Wyatt. This is Shelley Reed, Woods County Clerk. I'm here with the Woods County Equalization Board, and we have Joe Shirley that is our chairman. Our vice chairman is here, Chris Olson. Renetta Benson is our assessor, and Tom Ferris is with TAS. I have Jennifer Schaefer, she's my first deputy, and Marion Martin is our media lady that's here. So we are ready for your protest or formal appeal. But, okay, we have signed all our affidavits and notarized it, but I have not received anything from your company yet.
Okay, I can get you one of those. I can be sworn and, stay under oath. I've not had any conversations with any of the board members.
If that's legal, I'm good with it.
I'm not
I'm legal counsel, so I would
Okay.
think that would be fine. And I can submit that, after the hearing, but I'll say under oath that's the case.
Good enough. Keep going.
Okay. Okay, well, good morning, and I appreciate you letting me participate by phone. I'd rather do these in person if I can, but on this one, it's a pretty small matter, and that can't justify, charging the client, the time to come up there. But otherwise, I would like visiting with me and going over the materials that I had previously sent in. This well is located in, and I sent a map of this ahead of time, but this well is located in the northwest northwest of section 2, 26 North 17 West, and the flow line at issue runs to the east, pretty much to a sales meter over in the northeast corner. And it is our position that flow lines are part of the production assets. You can't get the oil produced off of these wells without doing something with the gas. Depending on the gas may or may not be valuable these days. It's pretty less valuable, but you can't produce these wells without doing something with the gas. It has to be carried by pipeline. And so this one, flows over to a sales meter. Our position is that, hey, the assessor needs, I understand needing a bright line rule on these. How do we determine production versus midstream and gathering? And I think, I would look at several things in the statute. We can talk about those and in case law, but I think the pretty simple answer is you look at where the sales meter is. Because once the gas hits the sales meter, it's being sold to the midstream company, and then the midstream company takes that on for transportation and use from there. And so that's really the division in the production process. Redline wouldn't consider itself the midstream company if you ask anyone that on this line. And so I think this is a traditional case of a flow line, and under the statutes, because this well has paid gross production tax, that is in lieu of levy of an ad valorem tax. And so we would just ask that the board would reflect that in its decision that this flow line is subject to gross production tax in lieu of ad valorem and remove the assessment.
Let me ask you a question. Is this pipeline in question all in the same section? And where is your sales meter off the location? Is it on location or is it somewhere else?
No, that's what I was saying. It is all in the same section. This well is the well and the flow line. The well sits right there in the northwest quarter, right, and then the flow line it bears a little to the middle of the north half, and then goes over into the northeast quarter of the same section. Sales meter sits right in the middle of the northeast corner of this section 2, and spacing on this well is 640, and I previously provided that spacing order and the 1002A on this well.
Okay. You are, Redline is the operator of this well?
That's correct.
Do you have other non-working, non-operating interest in this well as Redline?
I actually don't know on that. I would assume there's obviously going to be royalty owners in this well, but other non-working interest owners, I'm not sure about that. I don't know that really impacts the use necessarily here, but I can be happy to find that out and submit that to the board.
Well, my question is going to be, did all of the operator and non-operator people share in the cost of this line that looks like it runs maybe a half mile within the section unit? Did all of them pay their price of that?
When it was originally installed?
Yes.
Yes, I would assume so. I think it's pretty old. If I can pull up the age. I'm not even sure the age on this. This well was drilled and completed in 1983.
What size line is this?
I believe it's 4-inch.
And you've not been assessed like this before?
They bought it last year.
Oh, they bought it last year. How about before? Did they,
The first protest that I'm aware of was in 2022, which they mentioned is pending. But before that, I'm not sure. I know Redline acquired some of these wells and was taking a look at some of this. I think he was pretty surprised to get some of these assessments. He typically hadn't received them. So,
well, the people that owned it before you paid this assessment. Sorry.
yeah. I'm sorry, what was that?
Said the people that owned this well prior to you paid this assessment.
Yeah, I think that was an error. I really do.
This is a 4-inch line. That's not typical for a location to have a 4-inch line going from the wellhead to the end of the section allotted here on the 640 spacing. Well, why was it a 4-inch line? Was there originally a meter at the well?
I'm not certain that does happen in some instances.
I'm assuming this is a metal line.
Sorry, what was that?
I'm assuming it is a metal line and not a plastic poly.
Yeah, it's steel.
Okay.
The one thing I would, point to in the Oklahoma Tax Commission Business Personal Property Schedule, it talks about flow lines, and it says, yeah, they're typically smaller diameter used to flow production from the wellhead to the point of sales, or to a point of commingling mineral ownership. So that was one of the things we were looking at in addition to just the statutes as well. But
Okay, I want to hear from your opposition now.
sure.
Okay?
Okay, my name's Tom Ferris. I'm with Total Assessments, and usually I'm out in my truck.
I'm sorry to interrupt real quick. Is Tom with Task?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and I know the clerk's making a record, but I would like to lodge an objection to participation of a third-party consultant for the assessors under the new statute, Title 68, 2626.
We subpoenaed legally for them to be here. We went through our district attorney, and he said that's what we need to do, and so we are within our legal bounds.
Are you a employee of Redline, or are you a consultant?
I don't think he heard you.
Are you an employee of Redline, or are you a consultant, a hired attorney representing them?
I'm an attorney.
Okay, and you're representing Redline. You're not a company person, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, what's the difference between your position and task?
Well, there's no state statute telling me that I can't participate in these hearings.
Well, our district attorney says we can do that now. That's where we are at
Sure,
this point.
I anticipate my objection would be overruled, and that's fine, but I want to make it for the record.
Okay.
I do want to ask, I do have a question, though, I would like to ask for the record. How did the board know who to issue a subpoena to?
We subpoenaed it to a company, not to a person.
Okay, well, how did the board know to subpoena Task, I guess, in this instance?
I don't know what relevance that is.
That's our
Because
research,
the school district and the county hire these people to give them information on the assessments. They are employees of the county group, whether it's school districts or the county, and they are employees of that. They get paid, just like you. You are an employee of Redline. So we want to make it very clear that you and Task are both in the same position here.
Sure, I appreciate that. I'm just asking for clarity in the record how the board knew to subpoena Task.
Well, that was,
How did you know Task versus someone else?
I've explained that once already. That's enough. Next, tax.
Okay. We thought it was important to be here in person and also have some more detailed information on why we are at our position here with Redline. Again, my name is Tom Ferris. I'm with Task. Usually I'm out in the field in my truck looking at these pipelines and equipment. So bear with me, I'll keep this pretty high level because there's a lot of detail in these handouts. If you could look on page 28 of the handout, I think yours is in color. There's a little better detail of this pipeline we're talking about. And you can see on the left side of the page, there's a little, I think it's a red asterisk there. That's the wellhead. And then the line starts after the equipment. You can see it goes 3,100 feet, just about to the right of the page. And this is the section that we are talking about. So on page 2, this is the hearing, the court ruling from 1969, Home State Production Company, which established what is taxable, what is not taxable with the equipment. And then following these pages, there's a lot more detail of what is taxable. And you can go through that if you want to. I'm not going to touch on every little line here. Page 9, there was another ruling in 1979, kind of defining what is taxable, what is not taxable. And this goes down the list here. You can see the exempt properties, well equipment, tubing, casing, all the things that are involved in the process. There's nothing here about pipelines. There's no mention of the pipelines in this next ruling 10 years later. And then there's supporting equipment, language behind that to support that ruling. This line starts after the production equipment, which means it is taxable. For every pipeline outfit in the state, they pay this tax. The outfit that owned this before Redline paid the tax. So we believe that this equipment is post-production from the well site and it is taxable. We're asking that the board support our request of fair market value of $26,003. Thank you.
Do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, I would point to several things, one of which would be the 1988 Cumberland Operating Co. versus ODOs, which is 1988 Oklahoma 14, very clearly talks about electric systems, water lines, and gathering systems are exempt from ad valorem taxation if actually necessary and being used and in use for the production of oil and gas. So, I mean, I don't know what the 1979 case was that was cited, but there's some post-case law in addition to that. I mean, the statutes, are directly on point. The language in the OTC regulation, which is OAC 710-10-8-2, simply calls out flow lines as being exempt. And I didn't hear anything that indicated that this is not part of the production or in that definition that flow line goes from the production or from the wellhead to the sales meter or to the commingling of production. And we clearly have that over in the northeast corner on this, which is all within the same section. The only other thing is I don't know on the value here, $26,000 for 3,100 feet of 1980s vintage pipe that's buried in the ground just strikes me as a bit excessive, but I think the main issue is that this is just not subject to tax.
Well, let me ask you this, since you are a recent owner of this, when the well was drilled back in whenever, 80, 83?
Yeah, 83.
Was it a gas producing well or was it strictly oil?
This one has a little bit of both oil and gas, and then obviously natural gas. Liquid is, I believe, Tonkawa Formation and Tonkawa and Oswego.
Okay. Originally, did they sell gas to the city service? Is
where this line went to? Or did they sell gas to another company?
You know, I'm not sure who originally was. I mean, it is classified as a gas well under the original 1002A, but I'm not sure if that One Oak is where the sales meter is over in the northeast corner.
Okay, it goes to One Oak and not city service?
Yes, One Oak is where the sales meter is.
Okay, is this the original line that disposed the gas from this wellhead, or is this an additional line that was put in at a later time because the transportation cost of the gathering system or the salespeople were cheaper? Do you know?
Well, I'm not sure, but I believe this is original. I mean, it's been assessed that way I believe it's 1980s vintage.
So it's very unusual you would lay a 4-inch line on the leasehold 640 acres to go to a distributing company.
I'm not sure about that all
That's
small
usually-
diameter, but
That's usually a 2-inch line. And here somebody laid a 4-inch line. Was the meter originally at the wellhead and then you later on changed it to the location of the leasehold line, or, when was it?
I don't know. I don't know if there originally was a meter on this location and then it was moved over, or whether that's where it was from the beginning. But I think the issue here is the current use of the property.
Well, my question here is, if the meter was originally on location and somebody laid a 4-inch line and now you claim the meter being on the edge of the location, you're essentially trying to evade the tax of the line.
No, I don't believe that's correct. No one's trying to evade anything here. This will is already subject to one form of taxation, and the
Right.
state is not a double tax. Is the production assets. And that's our whole point here, is we paid our tax. We don't want to be double taxed.
Well, I understand that, but my question is, was this meter originally on location? Because you don't lay a 4-inch line for a situation here where you're moving gas 3,100 feet.
This has been a huge well. Could have been a huge well. Yes. What, I want to know the name of that, you quoted 1988, this court decision? Give me that.
That would be the Cumberland operating case. Now, the one piece of that, so that was originally on a disposal well case. Now, one part of that was reversed, where it said that only the disposal wells on lease. The Supreme Court just 2 years ago out about Falcon County said, no, the law has changed on that, and the saltwater disposal wells and the disposal system and those lines, they do not have to be on the lease.
Now, wait a minute, this isn't a saltwater well, this is your gas
No,
line.
listen.
Don't go there,
No.
that's nonsense.
Now, listen, I've explained to you what the holding of the case was, but the issue in part that I quoted to you was kind of the same thing that Mr. Ferris was quoting a minute ago. These decisions will kind of give a background or explanation of what is covered by gross production tax in lieu. And so the section that I was quoting to you about electric lines, water lines, gathering lines, that's in that background section, or at least in the explanation of that. In fact, if you go look, it's footnote number 10 to the Cumberland operating opinion, which would be on page
I don't think it's in our deal.
page 109.
Who was the original driller, the owner of this well when it was drilled? Who was it?
Shar Allen Oil Company.
Do you know what what the production rate was at the time it came in on the 1002A?
1002A reflects 823,000 cubic feet a day and 714 pounds flow.
What did they put in it for?
I mean, that seems pretty high pressure to me, which would probably explain the use of 4-inch.
And did this go to the city service 24-inch line to start with?
I don't know that. There's nothing that is reflected in the 1002A as to the original first purchaser, at least of gas. And there wasn't anything I saw in the spacing order either that seemed to indicate who the original first purchaser was. Obviously, been quite a
Okay.
while.
Question for Tom. Okay, now, I see his side. Explain to me why we should be taxing it.
Because the ruling in 1979 states that any line after the production equipment is considered taxable.
Aha,
And so we're calling this,
after production equipment.
that's
All
correct.
right. So, are you familiar with this Cumberland case?
I'm not.
We feel like it's gathering and transportation, and that's the reason we've got it on there. And last year's is in court, so,
Is what?
is in court with red line.
It's still in,
Last
it's
year.
in court? Still in court? Well then, I suspect we can just let the courts figure this one out. I mean, we can turn them down or just pass. What do we do here, Chris? It's in court, so I don't know why we're even here today if it's in court.
Because that was last year, and this is this year.
Is this
so-
year?
Mhm.
Okay, so I think we need to stay with whatever our decision was last year.
Yeah, my question here is, I'm pretty sure this was a company that put the meter location on the well site. And now, because new companies come in, you've moved the meter to the 640 location line. And I know your lease is going to say you have the right to lay flow lines. And you're basing the fact that you're trying to extend the flow line 3,100 feet, whereas originally, I'm sure it was not 3,100 feet. That company did not, in my estimation, lay a 4-inch line to dispose gas into a sales line somewhere.
Yeah.
And you don't know that, do you?
Well, I do know that the statutes all talk about the current use of the property. In fact, that's one of the elements to be.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that. I'm very familiar with this, but originally, this thing was probably not a flow line.
I don't think that there's any legal basis for the historical use of the property impacting whether or not the tax in lieu applies now under the current use.
Well, if you're, what'd you say production was now, 15,000 a day, something like that?
I don't have that was the original production that I was referencing based off the 1002A.
Yeah, but what is it today?
It's pretty low. It looks like it is, well, it was about 1,100 cubic feet a month. Looks like based on the initial, they did some rework on it and got it bumped up to about 5,000 cubic feet a month.
Okay, that's barely sufficient enough to maintain the operations of the well, isn't it?
Right. And so you can understand,
Yeah.
imposition of an additional tax on this is, it's big. I think it pretty much, if you look at the assessment, it's pretty tough. You can understand why we're here.
Yeah, I can understand. But I also understand probably the meter changed from location on the the wellhead site, where the wellhead is, at some point to the end of the 640 spacing. And you got a 4-inch line there that's handling 15,000 a day at the max.
One thing I would put it to you this way, so those prior parties,
Yeah.
I mean, apparently have been paying, double tax on this for a very long time, but the conditions and operation and use of that well was different at the time. Apparently there was quite a bit more production.
Now,
And
you're assuming that you own the pipeline, right? The flow line from the well location to the end of the section, you're assuming you own that?
that's my understanding is that the ownership is there at the sales meter in the northeast quarter.
Okay, and when the well is abandoned, you're assuming the fact that you are responsible for pulling that line up, or are you going to abandon it in place?
When it explodes,
Yes.
I'd have to look at the lease language and see if it requires remediation or allows abandonment in place, but I think most people do abandon it in place. Which kind of shows you the value is too high here.
It also shows the responsibility of, if the surface owner says pick up the line, your expense of picking up a 4-inch line is astronomical. Right?
Well,
I mean, that's a landowner's decision, not you abandoning in place on the benefit of the tax structure here.
And you mentioned this earlier, and I hadn't thought of it, and it's kind of an interesting take, but it's a good point. The lease language here is going to be the authority that you have to for this line to even be there on the surface owner. Otherwise, there's got to be some type of right-of-way. So, if this is red line's line, and it's the producer, that line is in place solely by virtue of that oil and gas lease. I don't know how that's not production.
Well, it would be today, in my opinion, but if it originally was a 4-inch line put in as a gathering line, and the operator of the well did not pay for that, and then 20, 30 years, 40 years later, you guys come in and say, okay, we're going to change meter location and go to the end of the section so we can eliminate the tax on the 4-inch line. And that poses a question. When did this happen? And if you're taking the position here that this line is part of the production, then it also would indicate to me it's also part of your operator's liability to pick it up.
I would say, I don't think anyone, assuming even that they moved the meter location, I don't think that was done in any regard to ad valorem tax. I mean, the assessor says this thing is worth $26,000. I mean, the tax on this is pretty low per year, and I don't think why would a midstream company give up $26,000 worth of pipe just to help save the operator, a couple $100 in additional double taxation a year? I don't think that was driving it. I think it's the actual production process that, if that happened.
Well, my opinion is that we're going to let the courts figure this out. We're going to go with what we did last year, and we'll see how it plays out, because it's the same thing. I mean, exactly, and they're just, and that's what, and I see Chris's point. I guarantee, unless things have changed a lot, that original meter was on the location, and they put that 4-inch line because they said, whoops, we got this huge well here, and we can't handle it on a 2, so we're going to put in a 4. And then they moved the meter. So I'm going to move we turn down their application.
I agree.
So they moved and seconded that we turn down the application. Joe moved, Chris seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
We'll let you figure this out in court.
Yeah. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, I would ask that the clerk would mail me the board's decision and written decision.
I sure will. Thank you, Wyatt.
And I would also request a copy of
Okay, will do.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You guys have a good day.
All right, thank you.
bye-bye.
I move we adjourn the Equalization Board and reconvene the Excise Board.
Well, let's go ahead and get this paperwork
I
done
thought we had it all
first.
done. Oh, okay.
No,
Excuse me.
you're in a hurry. We've got
Well,
to write out our
I'm not in a hurry, I
explanation.
just forget that we
And
got to do, we got to do this nonsense.
That should be Junior's
Okay, so we're
I'm
gonna,
sure he said something to
Okay, what do you want to know?
what's your explanation as to why we're rejecting?
It's in court on the previous year on the same question. And we had questions as to the original meter location.
Due to court litigation is on anything?
Same question.
I can understand the position, but they're trying to avoid
Right
taxes.
here.
That's what
I
they're doing here.
understand their position too,
Okay,
and I think
Okay.
from my
Right. that's what I want.
opinion, if
Yes.
the meter originally was at the end of that, okay, then I think they win.
Yeah.
But the meter was originally on the location.
And I never, ever, rarely ever see it not on.
I don't either.
location.
I've never seen it that way.
I think
I
I've
got a
seen it
brand new one on my
handful of
farm now, and it's, fortunately, it's on the location on me, and the gas is off the other guy.
So the
But-
whole question is the size of the pipe, is that what you're talking about?
Well, I'm questioning the original driller of the well, whatever his name was.
Star Allen.
Sher Allen
Star Allen, okay.
Company had the meter location on the pad, on the drilling pad. It's usually how it's done.
And it was just such a huge, good well, that, whoa.
Well, they're anticipating, this would have been city services line to start with.
Okay.
They would have anticipated more development in this area.
Yeah.
So that's why they put the 4-inch line 3,100 feet into this section.
What was the name of it?
Well, we'll be able to find it. Court records ought to show who put that 4-inch line in.
Yeah.
And we got a lease.
They would
Right away?
They would have had a right of way.
Yeah.
And that's why it would have been nice to have had this, and we could have gone in and looked to see if there on record was a right of way laid by
Somebody
another
else, that'd be simple. We need to look. Oh, it's too late now.
Read that, see if I need to add anything to that.
I would think they would have known, they would have found that out when
Makes
they
sense, or-
researched it, whether or not they're going to appeal
Yeah,
it.
that's okay.
That's okay.
But it looks to me like it's really simple on that deal.
You need some right there.
Well, I know how we're playing games
Yeah, there are questions here.
on this, because I'm in this case where we would not allow the gathering pipe, which would Tardo or midstream, we wouldn't allow them to lay a line on us if they did not allow us to put a meter
For your use.
just for our use. So they came in and said, okay, we'll lay it under the lease. So the lease says that they have a right to lay flow lines and electric lines and all this stuff under their lease, which is 640, in this case, was a 320. Okay, fine. If you're gonna lay it under the lease, the minute you abandon, you pick that line up. You pick it up.
We don't know what happened here, but we need to know.
Yeah, if there was
If there was a lease with somebody else to put that flow line in, we got it.
and
Instant.
yeah, and if there was, a right of way for this 4-inch line, it ought to be on record.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be up there.
Ought to be on record. So that's
I
where we're
suggest
at.
you look at that. That okay? Is that legal? I mean, can we do that? Okay, good.
Thanks,
Oh,
Tom.
Thank you,
It's
Beth.
nice to
Thank
meet
you all.
Thank you,
Nice
Tom.
to meet you
I
all.
will leave and you guys can move on to the next meeting.
Oh, yeah, we're going to do what I said we'll do.
Yeah,
we're gonna call adjourn the Equalization Board and reconvene the Excise Board. Call the meeting to order. Roll call, Chris.
Here.
Joe, here. We have a quorum. Approval of the minutes, Red West Side Board meetings using the, yeah, right there.
I move we approve the minutes.
Chris, move we approve. I second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion carried. Approve or disapprove request for state aid and federal funds for the Freedom School Child Nutrition Fund in the amount of $7,448.69.
Yes, and I guess you guys don't sign it. I'm gonna just have you sign the back of it. Just because they didn't have it more on there. But, yeah, that needs to be approved. And that was the freedom one. That's actually You never did bring that to me, actually. The freedom one. That one's Winokus. I never did receive the freedom one. So
Okay,
let's do no action on that one.
No
And
action on
let's-
freedom?
Yeah, on the freedom one.
Okay, take that one out of there.
Yeah, take that, oh yeah, because I didn't get that one. So sorry.
We didn't get that done, so we have to rescind that one.
Yeah, so we'll just do no action on it. Okay.
And Winoka's not listed.
Yeah, number 10 is Winokus.
That's ARP, okay, that's what that is. Child Nutrition Grant, and that's, but it's 60,000.
Mhm.
Okay. For Winoka I-3.
I move we approve.
Chris, move we approve, I second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion has it, motion carried. Next item is to reapprove the temporary appropriations that were approved June 20th, 2024.
We
New
just
year.
do it every year, and we don't have anything to sign, you just say that you're going to reapprove the amounts that we did on that.
Okay, can we do them all at once?
Yes,
Aha.
on this one.
I move that we reapprove the temporary appropriation for fiscal year 23-24 that were approved June 21st, 23.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Anything else?
Nope.
Move we adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.